If you are a regular viewer of one of these webinars, welcome back. If this is your first time viewing a webinar, we warmly welcome you and hope you will find it another valuable resource. Please use this webinar format as a way to ask questions and discuss some of the issues that come up by posting your comments and questions in the text box on the right-hand side. We will be happy to field these questions and hopefully offer some insight. For today's webinar, we've chosen to discuss the English Language Immersion Camp. As many of you may know, English camps are becoming a popular tool for teaching English. So for the next hour, we're going to discuss the benefits of camping, as well as look at some various activities that you might use and adapt into your own camp planning. My name is Ryan Brux, and I am currently an English language fellow based here in hot Tarapoto, Peru. While a lot of my work addresses teacher training and development, I've also had the opportunity to attend, participate, and help with organizing several English language camps throughout the country of Peru. I'm excited to be sharing some of these different things I've learned along the way. Sitting next to me is my buddy, my friend, my partner in crime, Mr. Carlos Gabriel Medrano, a recent camp participant. So I know his contributions will be invaluable in this discussion. Hey, Carlos.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Carlos, can you tell us a little bit about yourself since you are kind of the rock star here?
Okay, I am 15 years old. I am from Tarapoto, Peru. I am an assistant student, and
so what do you enjoy doing, Carlos?
what do you enjoy doing? Studying English.
Studying English?
Yes, I love English. And
I hear you're a pretty good singer too.
yes, I love to sing too. And my dream, well, studying English is to travel to the United States.
Traveling to the United States?
Yes.
Wow. So where in the United States would you like to go?
Yes, I would like to go.
Washington, D.C., New York?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, good. Well, I'm so happy, I'm thrilled you're here. And just to let our audience know, Carlos has, as he mentioned, he's a student in our local Access program in Tarapoto. Access is a scholarship program that is administered to the Department of State, and the scholarship provides 2 years of English language instruction to highly motivated and intelligent students like yourself, Carlos. Through different enhancement activities such as camps, students learn leadership skills and become more civically engaged, going on to do great things in their communities. For more information about this program and others, I've attached a link at the end of this presentation. Just to make one little note too, congratulations to you, Carlos. You will now be the youngest person to ever have done a RELO Andes webinar. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think it's super impressive, your English skills over 1 year. That's great. We're going to move right along here and go through some of our objectives of today's webinar. Today we're going to discuss the purpose of intensive English camps. Why the heck should we get out of the classroom and go camping? We're also going to discuss a new framework for planning a camp. There's been the traditional framework, which has focused a lot on the use of social English, but we're going to take a look at a different kind of framework to see how that can be a little bit more effective in your planning. We're also going to discuss the considerations when planning a camp. There's a lot of questions that you need to ask before you start planning and implementing your camp. We're also going to discuss various themes and activities that are possible. And we're going to look more in depth at these various activities and look at how they can be adapted and used at your summer camp. Lastly, we're going to show how easily language and content, yes, language and content, can be taught through camp activities. So, why intensive English camps? Well, first of all, camps give campers opportunities to use language in a real setting. So, Carlos, didn't you, when we were out camping, didn't you find that you were using a lot more language?
Yes.
Yes, a lot of English.
Yes.
Correct. Probably more English than you would be using in the classroom.
Yes, more.
Second, camps help to contextualize language, and it gives language a real purpose. I think for a lot of students, sitting in a classroom, looking at the whiteboard, we wonder, well, how the heck is this applying to life? And a camp can really show you how it does. Camps support social and academic use of language. As I mentioned before, the traditional version of camps were intended to, be more fun and social. However, we've seen that they can also be used as a tool for academic purposes. Camps can teach students how to work together. We work together a lot,
yes,
didn't we, at the camp? And how to work collaboratively to accomplish common goals. Lastly, camps support existing classroom instruction and invite further inquiry. You can take a lot of what you learn at the camp and bring it back to your classroom. And camps are just plain fun, aren't they, Carlos?
The most important thing.
The most important thing, he said. Yes. And they sure are. They're a lot of work, but a lot of fun.
Yes.
So as I was mentioning, there were two different frameworks. There's, I'm not going to necessarily say the worst of the two, but the old framework, the focus is primarily on social use of language, just getting students together so that they would be talking. The new framework, the one that we propose, has activities that are used to support all 4 skills.
Yes.
Carlos, do you remember what are the 4 skills?
One is reading,
Reading,
listening, and writing, and speaking.
Very good. Reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And so activities are used to support those 4 skills. In the old framework, activities generally were not very connected to one another. Whereas in the new framework, activities are carefully planned, thematic activities, and they support a specific content area. And we're going to talk about that in our next couple slides. In the old framework, in the old kind of camping, there was less focus on language construction, whereas now, activities help facilitate language construction. Little to no reflection was happening in the past camps, whereas now there's reflective learning through journaling and through a variety of assessment tools. And finally, there was less consideration of the context or the environment. Yeah, so it's fun to go to the park, but you can use the park to your advantage when planning activities. So before you begin planning, I mentioned before, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of questions that you have to ask yourself. So before you begin planning, where and when will the camp be held? Who is going to staff the camp? A lot of you out there might be very ambitious and think that you can handle a camp and plan it and staff it all on your own for 20 or 40 kids. I warn you against that, and we'll talk about the reasons why. What are your camp objectives? What do you hope students will accomplish by the end of the camp? What are your language objectives? Again, you can teach language during the camp. What materials and resources will you need? Yes, you will need materials.
Yes, materials.
And so you need to carefully plan for those materials. And again, what is your budget allowing you to spend per participant? So asking some of these questions is really important when planning your camp. We were talking about themes. So we want to choose a theme that is neither too narrow nor too broad. And this just allows flexibility in activity planning. You want to choose a theme that is relevant and of interest to your students. If it's not interesting, if the theme is not interesting, then it's hard to believe that any activities around that theme are going to be interesting to your students as well. So you have to really know your students, yes? And what do they want to learn about? Choose a theme from which a variety of activities can support. Here are some possible themes that you may consider. For instance, you can talk about the civically engaged students. You could spend a 2 to 3 day camp working on a civic engagement activity. You could do a camp on healthy choices or healthy lives, talking about nutrition and exercise and how that is important in the lives of students. You could talk about the specific local environment in which the students are living. We're going to talk a little bit about our camp, which was held in the jungle and revolved around issues of the jungle. You could do a camp on developing leadership skills. You could do also a camp on the road to college. A lot of the camps are geared towards 15, 16, 17-year-olds. They are preparing to go to college in the next few years. What a great opportunity to have. Other themes? We're just waiting for our slide to load. Here we go. And when choosing activities, choose activities that support the theme being explored. So keep them very focused. This means having a plan in mind, working around your theme. Choose activities which can be used to support language teaching goals. Choose activities that invite further inquiry for later classroom instruction. You can teach grammar at the camps. That's okay, but do it through a fun activity. And then bring that grammar point back to the classroom. And also, and I think most important, choose activities that invite students to do, to explore, and that will allow students to grow. Again, just waiting for our slide to load, folks. Well, our next slide is actually about working with partners. I'll speak to that just a little bit. Carlos, do you remember who we worked with at the camp?
Yeah, with the business guy.
With the who?
Peace Corps guy.
The Peace Corps guys. Yes, the Peace Corps guys. There are numerous Peace Corps. There are numerous Peace Corps members throughout the country, and if you can partner with them, fantastic. They're a great help.
Yes.
Okay. But all right, we're going to come back to partners, but I would like Carlos to talk a little bit about the camp.
Okay. The camp was held in San Miguel in Tarapoto, Peru, and we were there 3 days. And We began one Friday in the morning and we finished one side Sunday in the afternoon. And we were 20 participants, 20 students from the local Access program, and with 7 adults. And our thing was it's a jungle out there.
It's a jungle out there.
Yes.
Why do you think we decided to do the jungle, Carlos?
Jungle because we were in a natural environment, or we were near to the river, and we were near the jungle too.
And for those of you who do not know the region of San Martin, it is at the base of the Amazon region, and so it is a really cool ecosystem from which to plan activities. I want to kind of go back to the 3-to-1 ratio. As we said before, it's very important to have partners to help staff your camp. So we worked on a 3-to-1 ratio, which meant that with a group of 20 campers, we had about 6 to 7 adults who were helping to lead the groups. This really ensures appropriate monitoring and gives more students opportunities to interact in English. So let's get camping, Carlos. Can you tell us a little bit about what we see here in the picture?
Yes, in the pictures we are trying to put in the tent. And well, for me it was a little difficult because I never did it. And
oh, you had never gone camping?
No, I never. It was my first time.
It was your first time. And did you put the tent up by yourself, or did you work as a group?
As a group.
As a group. Did you do it?
Yes, we did it.
You were able to.
But we had a little problems, but we did
it. That's always the case when putting up a tent, even for myself. And there we have our friend Rosa. She's got her sleeping pad. And based upon where you want to do the camp, you can either do the tents, or if you have a facility with lodging, that's acceptable as well. I really think the tents were kind of fun though, yes?
Yes.
The tents were kind of fun because you could have, how many were in your tent?
6 people.
Six people. There were 6 people in your tent. Did you get any sleep?
A little, but it was very fun. We were talking at night.
Mm-hmm. Great. So going back to partners, don't be afraid to reach out. Finding and attracting partners are vital to your camp's success. Partners can assist in staffing and in some cases even funding. As you think about staffing, like I said, consider a ratio of 3 to 4 camp participants to 1 adult. Now, so who are these people, Carlos?
Well, they're the guys. The first picture, he's Brian.
And what is he doing in that picture?
He's playing the guitar in the campfire.
Ah, so he knew how to play guitar, huh?
Yes.
Wow,
that's good playing it.
And was he singing as well?
Yes, singing.
Hmm? What do we have in the second picture?
Well, and he's Mr. Tony with Miss Marisa.
With Miss Marisa. And where do they work at?
At the cultural here in Japan.
Sure. So we have our binational center, which we run our access program through, and where this camp was being organized. And Tony and Marisa there in the middle were instrumental in helping to make this camp run smoothly. And in the bottom we have?
Well, in the last picture, he's Joseph, Andrew, and Sarah. They're Peace Corps guys.
They are Peace Corps guys. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how Peace Corps how Peace Corps members can really help out your camp. But as far as going back to partnerships, I mean, really just take a look what is out there. We mentioned Peace Corps volunteers. We mentioned members from the binational centers, but also consider NGOs, non-governmental organizations, community volunteer groups. Fulbright English teaching assistants. You will find a few of these bright individuals scattered throughout your respective countries. Local businesses, community groups, your local government, maybe perhaps the department, the education ministry, embassies, and also pre-service institutions. And I just want to talk a little bit about the pre-service institutes. These are places where prospective teachers are being trained. It would be, it's good to get these folks involved as they will become the future teachers. So try to involve these members into your camp planning and let them be leaders at camp so that they can kind of see how they work. So we're talking now a little bit more about the fun stuff, the activities. An important thing that we needed to do is build a background. Prior to the camp, it's important to preview some of the material that students will be learning about, whether this be in the classroom or even on a mini field trip, which is what we did. It's a great way to find out what students already know about a particular theme. Can you tell us what's happening here? Where did we go?
Well, one week ago, we went to Takiwasi to learn about medicinal plants.
Okay, so Takiwasi, what is Takiwasi for those of us who don't know what it is?
It's a center of medicinal plants, and it's a center that helps to alcoholics too.
Oh wow! So it's a place where you can learn about medicinal plants,
yes,
and how they can cure different ailments like
yes,
alcoholism. So you get to see how plants in the jungle can help people.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So a mini field trip right before the camp is also a good opportunity just to bring students together before the actual camp. We were able to get all 20 students together, right, Carlos?
Yes.
We did some activities and had a good time.
Yes, a good time.
Great. So again, before the camp, you want to preview materials, you want to increase awareness for the program, for the camp, and build interest. And also of importance is getting students interacting with one another and having fun. So we also needed to break the ice. Now, what does breaking the ice mean? Well, prior to the camp, preview some, well, getting students ready to work together is essential in camp planning. So ice-breaking games get students talking, working together, building up trust, and helping to ease perhaps those initial scary moments that might come from being away from home, from mom, from dad. And while you're doing these ice-breaking activities, don't be afraid to teach aspects of language to these games. There is important language, even the most fun of games. And can you tell us about some of these games? What did we do, Carlos?
Well, we did the balloon pass, the alphabet dancing, and the knot games.
Can you tell us about what we did for the balloon pass?
Well, we took one balloon and we passed to the classroom that is in front of the back, and he received that and he passed saw the classmate.
Oh, so it was like a balloon race, yes?
Yes.
Ah, yeah, so you're passing the balloon over your head,
Over your head.
under your legs, around. So you can see you're teaching here prepositions, and I think that's something that you can take away from that kind of game. Alphabet dancing. What do we do for alphabet dancing?
Well, the teacher gave us one word, and we had to look for that word in next letters. There were like a ball. In the ball there were a lot of sheet of papers with one letter, and we had to build the word with the letters.
Ah, yeah. So what you were learning through this is the spelling of important words that you would be learning throughout the camp. So in this picture, I see the word group. So 5 members had to race, find each letter out of the mix of letters on the floor and spell out the word group. Then we also had knot games. Knot games is kind of fun, huh?
Yes.
What do we have to do for knot games?
Well, I don't remember. I can't remember well, but I remember that our hands were very messed.
They were messed up like a knot, yes? And we had to untangle so that we formed a circle. And students had to use the language such as, oh, please go under me. Again, using prepositions to help solve the game. So again, these games provide an opportunity to get to know one another, and as important, they teach language. What about grouping students? We had how many groups did we have at our camp?
And we had 3 groups: the red group, the blue group, and the green group.
And Carlos, what group were you on?
And I was in the red group.
And what team was I on?
And you were in the blue group.
Oh.
You were the enemy.
Oh, the blue group, the best group, yes?
I don't think so.
Uh-oh, I don't have anybody from the green group. So grouping students will help to build group identity and teamwork skills. Grouping students also helps to make managing students easier, as group leaders can be charged with helping to lead groups. Be sure to group students in advance of the camp. I've seen camps where they wanted to group in that moment, and they just weren't able to consider a variety of things when grouping students, such as age, gender, English levels, their behavior, and so some of the groups, they didn't work out as well as intended. Also of note, competition between groups, particularly teenagers, is going to be natural. So accept that. Friendly competition is good, but also be sure to bring all of your groups together for whole group activities so that your camp does not become overly competitive or overly hostile. And I have seen a camp in which this was the case. The competition aspect got to be so much that students started crying, and so it was just, let's try to avoid that. You know, we want to have, I mean, the purpose of this camp is so that all group members feel part of a larger community. All right, so friendly competition is A-okay, but don't let it get too intense. Moving on to one of my favorite activities. This is called tie-dyeing. And so as we mentioned before, you can encourage use of the 4 skills. So for this, you can see the slide on the left, students are writing. Now, Carlos, what are they writing?
Well, they're writing the stats to the steps to do the tie-dye t-shirt.
Ah, the steps. So what you're doing is you're doing process writing
Yes.
using academic words such as first, next, then, and last,
Yes.
or finally. Very good. And so what happened with the t-shirts? Did you make one?
Yes, I did one.
And how did you like it?
Yes, I like it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I think the t-shirts, the tie-dye t-shirts, no one t-shirt looks the same. So while it's a group exercise, it also allows for students to be individuals and to show their individuality. So next we'll take a look at using nature. A camp is a great way to explore and understand your surroundings. Take advantage of the opportunity to disconnect from those iPhones, those video games, and social media sites like Facebook. I know you folks love it, but take advantage to get away from it for a couple days. Camps are a great way to get back to nature, to explore it, to understand it, and learn from it. And it makes students more appreciative of it, and thus more willing to take care of it. Carlos, can you tell us a little bit about what we did in nature?
Yes, we had nature walk. Then nature walk, we had our first time at kit and Alaskan water and I don't know what.
And so we did the landscape watercolor.
Yes.
And what did we do with the landscape watercolor?
We painted the environment that we sat.
Ah, so was it a quiet exercise?
Yes, very quiet.
It was a time to reflect, to paint, but you were also able to talk about your paintings, and so that encouraged the use of vocabulary.
Yes, in fact, and we had to be concentrated.
And how was the nature walk?
Nature walk, and it was fun and very tired too.
You were a little bit tired. How long was your nature walk?
45 minutes, I think.
45 minutes, and
Yes.
I remember from that day it was quite hot, so you definitely need to bring some water. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Great. And going along with nature, we did a photo hunt. And this is an exercise that we can also practice a little bit of our grammar. So, Carlos, can you tell us a little bit about what we did for the photo hunt?
Well, the teacher gave us a camera and a list of things that we had to take picture. And
so what were some things that we took a picture of?
well, for example, a yellow banana, a fast-moving driver, a relaxing place, a green plant, and sample of forestation.
So, Carlos, I want you to notice something as you were going through that. Let's take a yellow banana.
Okay.
So where is our noun?
Well, the noun is banana.
And where is our adjective?
Yellow.
Wow. And where does the adjective go? Does it go before or does it go after the noun?
Before, because the adjective describes the noun.
And then you took pictures of these things, yes?
Yes.
So students are understanding then adjectives, nouns,
And articles too.
and articles.
Yes.
And articles, versus and when to use it. I think it was a great activity. I think
Yes.
kids had a lot of fun. Yes?
It's helped me to meet better to ever.
Yes, great. So we also had a movie night, yes?
Yes.
That was quite a fun. We had a movie night with popcorn, yes?
Yes. Popcorn.
You like popcorn?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can use movies as a way to further support the theme of the camp. Don't use it as something just to fill up the time. Select a movie that has content and that is visual. To prevent students from just passively watching an English movie, have them fill out something so that they are not just passive observers. Here, do you recall, Carlos, what movie did we watch? What was it about?
But the movie was about the Amazon
Ah, the Amazon. And what did you see in the movie?
and different kind of animals and the environment that they live and different kind of people that live in the jungle.
And different kind of people. So it kind of helped to support the theme of the jungle, yes?
Yes.
Great. So students watched this movie on the Amazon, and like Carlos said, they saw things in the movie that they recognized in English. Snakes, dolphins, plants, spiders. And they wrote these things down in a web organizer. This type of activity really supports vocabulary learning and makes students, again, accountable. Remember, accountability is the key in every activity that you are planning.
Yes, and I think I remember that you gave us a sheet of paper and we had to write the different animals or nouns that we hear in the movie.
And how many nouns were you able to get, Carlos?
45?
You were able to get 45.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, incredible. So what it does teach you is that students have a very big base knowledge and that you need to extract that. And so something fun like a movie can really do that for you. Teaching content. We had talked about being able to teach content. Don't be afraid to teach it. Science, social studies, math, reading. Don't be afraid. Camps literally put a living laboratory at your fingertips. So here, what were students learning about, Carlos?
About the global warming and the gases that are in the environment.
Ah, so you were learning about how global warming can affect the jungle environment.
Yes.
Again, this is just another way that we can extract an activity based upon the theme. And these particular workshops, who did this workshop? Do you remember, Carlos?
Yes, the Peace Corps guys.
Ah, the Peace Corps guys. So the Peace Corps members, they oftentimes have an extensive knowledge about these kinds of issues that you might not otherwise have. So it was really beneficial having them there to share that information. Oh, it was quite hot, yes?
Yes.
And we did a lot of work, yes? So rest time is very important, yes?
Yes.
And how did we rest?
We took a nap and we played some games like soccer, volley, and we swam in swimming pools.
I heard you played some baseball too.
Baseball. I forgot it.
And he looks like he's enjoying his nap, yes?
Yes.
But yes, this is important. You have a ton of ideas for how you want to fill up your camp schedule. But don't forget to give students and yourselves a little bit of time to rest. Intensive language camps can be awfully demanding, physically and cognitively. Your mind is going to be busy with a lot of different information. And the research shows that if you give participants short breaks in between these cognitively demanding activities, they're going to be ready for more and will be more successful at those activities. So take some time to rest, to relax, and play. Now, Carlos, it would not be a camp without
The campfire.
the campfire. And what do we do at the campfire?
Well, we roast marshmallows. I remember that Brian was playing the guitar and singing too.
And singing, playing guitar. You were saying marshmallows.
Yes.
And what do you do with the marshmallows?
We did like a sandwich, some cookies and chocolate.
Do you remember what it was called, Carlos?
No, I don't remember.
It's called a s'more.
S'more.
And how you make a s'more is you take a marshmallow,
you
roast the marshmallow,
and you take one cookie and one piece of chocolate, and you do like a sandwich, and then you eat it.
And how was it?
Very delicious.
Very delicious, he says. So a bonfire has a magical quality to bring people together. Celebrate the hard work students have put in by setting up a bonfire the night before they leave. Roast some marshmallows, share some scary stories. This is what Carlos has told us. Get out the guitar and just have a good time as a group. One of the important things to also do is, and as we had talked before, take time to do some journaling, to have the students do some reflective journaling. And what did we do in these journals, Carlos? Do you remember?
Yes, I remember that we wrote and things that we liked, that we learned, and that we improved.
Mm-hmm. So, invite students to reflect upon their experiences, highlighting different aspects of the camp through an ongoing journal. So as Carlos said, what did he learn? What has the group learned? And importantly, how are they connecting the experience to their classroom learning? The journal notebooks can also be used to take notes on different activities. Again, this keeps students accountable for their learning. And it also, if you take a look at it as a teacher, it provides a good assessment for what they've learned. So Carlos, what did you think about the camp?
Well, the camp was very fun, and it served to learn more, or to learn about the environment and to meet new people. And the most important, to put in practice the words, the grammar, the vocabulary, and that we learned when we were studying.
Great. And truly, the camp is an unforgettable experience. Here you can see the 20 access students and the staff all getting together for the last group picture. Do you remember how people were feeling at the end of this camp, Carlos?
Happy, tired, and sad.
Oh, you said sad. Why?
Because it was the last time that we saw the Discord guys.
Oh, so with the camp, what you're saying is you get attached to these people and you form lasting relationships.
Yes, they were very funny.
Right. So they really are unforgettable. I agree. And I should point out, we had this camp, what, 3 months ago? In June, I think.
Yes, in June.
And as Carlos has shown, they do really remember more things that they are taught at this camp than in a classroom. So if you're even hesitating to do a camp and thinking about all that work, yes, they are a lot of work. Stop yourselves and start the planning process. I guarantee you that your students will thank you for years to come. Now I know most of you are on the other server and I don't see a lot of questions coming in, but I want you to start thinking of some questions that you would like to ask Carlos or myself in these last couple slides. So if we could take some of those questions and have them posted over here, that would be great. I'm going to go ahead and ask Carlos some questions right now, though, about his experience. So Carlos, Can you tell me some of the best things about attending this camp? What are some things that you will remember the most?
Well, experience to meet new people, to practice my English, to improve it, and to have fun, and the food too was very delicious.
Oh, you said the food was very delicious. You remember that. Good.
But for me, the most important that I practiced my English and all the things that I was learning and studying for.
Great. So, going on that, do you think attending a camp helped you to learn more English?
Yes, I would like.
And what kinds of things in English did you learn?
American English.
Oh, you learned some American English. How did you do that?
And to be interactive with American people, the business guys, and with you too.
And with me. So you're thinking. So you're saying it's important to also have some native speakers. Yes.
Yes.
What did you learn about American culture?
American culture. Could you repeat that question, please?
Yeah. What did you learn about American culture on this? What are some things that you had never seen before?
Okay.
Like at the bonfire?
Yes, and frisbee too.
Oh, and frisbee.
Yes, I like the game.
Ah, you saw the game frisbee. Great. And I think you also played baseball, yes?
Yes, baseball.
Great. And Carlos, would you attend another camp in the future?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I will.
Well, that's a good thing, Carlos, because I think we have planned another camp in the next 6 months.
Next. Okay.
Great. Are there any other questions for Carlos? Well, Carlos, I have a couple questions for you. So, you are 15 years old.
Yes. Yes.
And this was the first time that you left your home to spend on an overnight.
Yes.
Were you nervous?
A little.
A little bit. How did you get over your nervousness? How did you solve that problem?
Talking with my friends and with American people.
Great. So being away from the camp, but then being with your friends and being with concerned and friendly adults really helped. Yes.
Yes.
Great. So were you scared of sleeping in a tent?
No, I wasn't.
You didn't think that the jaguars were going to come and eat you?
No, only Coco.
All right. Oh, okay. Okay. Dan asks, are there camps that are a mix of nationalities? Oh, I think that's an incredible question, and I would say let's do it if there's not. We are looking this year at doing some camps in Bolivia and across the Andes region, and I think it's really exciting to bring different nationalities together. I think they learn so much. Even particularly down here in South America, there's so many different accents within the different countries that getting them all together, they're almost forced to use English, which is kind of it's a really neat experience. So I would definitely recommend that. Lourdes from Arequipa asks, Carlos, are you single? No, just kidding. Carlos, which is your best memory from your experience in the camp? What is your best memory?
Best memory. Well, I had a lot, but the best was that I met the American people and to practice with them and camp practice with them and to improve my English with them and to learn more about American culture.
Thank you, Carlos. Peg, from Ibarra. Carlos, did your English improve a lot during the camp?
Yes.
Can you explain how? How did it improve?
Well, I improved trying to talk to the American people, and they check my English and they tell me about my mistakes, and that helped me a lot to improve my English.
Great. Con-X, what has been the hardest part of learning English? What's the hardest part? Can you tell us? You've been studying English for 1 year. What is the hardest part about learning English?
The hardest part, I think.
Is it vocabulary, speaking? What do you think?
A little of speaking.
A little bit of speaking.
Yes.
And how have you practiced your speaking since the camp ended?
With my teacher and with you, my friend.
Great. Are there any other questions for Carlos? Well, keep your questions coming in. I'm going to go to our last slide. I'm sure Carlos would love to answer your questions. And this is just talking about additional resources that you can take with you. Just a moment, I might have. So here are additional resources, but I'm going to go to a couple other questions. Dan, Carlos, do you plan to attend university?
Wow.
Do you plan to go to university?
Yes. Yes, I do.
If so, what would you like to study?
Law.
You would like to study?
Law or economics.
Do you think English will help you?
Yes, I do.
I think so as well. Maria, did you speak English all the time at the camp? I will answer that one for you, Maria, and I will say yes. Although that these students were, at the time, 8 months fresh as students, English was spoken to them at all times. Perhaps they would answer back in Spanglish, a mixture of Spanish and English, but we really tried to encourage them to always speak English. And by providing activities which really which kind of included the language objectives, that really helped them attain ways to negotiate the conversation. Carlos, do you still speak English with your classmates outside of the camp?
Yes, I did.
Can you say that one more time? Do you still speak English with your classmates?
Yes, I did. I spoke English with my classmates, but they wanted to speak Spanish because they were a little tired of speaking English.
Glenda would like to know, do you study English at your public school?
Well, sadly, we only study English 1 hour per 2 hours per week.
I hope that you caught that. In Peru, the students have English class 2 hours per week. So it's really important. This access scholarship is really important for these students who wish to learn more English. Okay, I'm going to continue going on with the additional resources. I have there's a great YouTube video that I hope that you can write this down, because we have put all of our camp activities into a 5-minute presentation with really cool music that was developed by our partners here at the Binational Center. So if you can take down this, check out our YouTube. It's a really fun video, and you can kind of really get an idea for what the camp was like. If you're looking for our resources, visit ultimatecampresource.com. It's a great resource for planning camp activities. They are resources that have been created by campers and by camp counselors and camp leaders. So definitely kind of your one-stop. If you're looking for research on summer camps, check this out. It is a descriptive study of a camp in China. And although it is specifically geared towards China, it really does have a lot of universal principles to it. And great research about camps' impact on learning and teaching. And finally, find out more about our access programs worldwide. You can visit exchanges.state.gov, this website, to find a little bit more information about the program that Carlos is in, as well as some programs affiliated with your respective countries' U.S. embassies. So I just want to conclude. Thank you for tuning in to our webinar this afternoon. Carlos, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your perspectives on this camp.
Thank you too.
And continued luck on everything you do. I have a feeling that Carlos is going to be achieving that goal of studying in the U.S. sooner than he thinks. But what a great job. Thank you, Carlos. Happy camping to you. If you have any if you need any more information, or if you have any questions, you can contact me. My email is listed below. And thanks again for tuning in. You can join us again for our next webinar on Wednesday, October 9th, 4:00 p.m. Our friend Katie Bain, a fellow out of Barranquilla, Colombia, will discuss one of our favorite topics, and that's games in the classroom. Until next time, cheers and see you next time.